Yo, what's going on YouTube? How you guys doing today? It's beautiful Saturday. What, morning, afternoon? Yeah, almost morning still, kind of. Anyway, today's stream, we're talking about some labs, talking about some progress that I've been working on, and we're mainly opening this up for an Ask Me Anything. I forgot to change the title on this thing, huh? Saturdays are for the labs. Ask me anything. That's my bad. Forgot to change that. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. My Saturday so far has been interesting because we just put an offer in on a house and it got accepted. So now we have a new house. Our house is sold and everything's just crazy hectic and it never ends. The fun never ends. That's for darn sure. So today, I actually last night, really, that's kind of the craziness. Is last night. Let me see if I can find this. There we go. I'll pull this up here. I gotta look back here. That's my bad. As you can see on my screen here, I am 95% done with the LPI Linux Essentials course that I've been taking on Linux Academy. This is not a plug necessarily for Linux Academy. They're not paying me to say anything. I'm just kind of talking about my progress here because this has been not really that long in the works. A couple months now, maybe, of probably studying this and taking the course here for usually about 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week sometimes. It's only a 6-hour course, so it's taken a while. There were a couple of weeks where I wasn't able to do anything, but 95% done, which means the only thing that I have left is the practice test. And I can pull that up. I can actually go over a practice exam, if that makes sense, because you can basically enable it so this practice exam, I cannot say it today, is it's not recorded, so the results what does it say? If I enable practice mode, the score is not recorded. There we go. So that's pretty cool because I took, I don't know, like 20 questions or so the other day, 25 questions, I think. And I got like, I don't know, I think I got 3 or 4 wrong, 3 wrong maybe. And then I failed it off of 25 questions. So I looked at the areas that I needed to kind of brush up on it, and I did that last night, actually, like late last night. I was up till like 1 in the morning working on this, and I got pretty far in it. I felt comfortable with what I knew so far, even like the stuff that I messed up on the tests, because when you enable the practice mode on here, it'll show you which answers you got wrong. And those are some things that I really wasn't comfortable with to begin with. So being able to, go through that exam, see what I got wrong, it obviously allowed me to kind of go back and work on the things that I needed to do. But I know that I need more work. So even though like I've pretty much gone over, as you could see, like all of this stuff, I've completed the entire course essentially. There's still things that I wasn't 100% on. Still things that I didn't know, or didn't know fully. So I'm actually going to go over a lot of like these different, what are they called? Exercises that they have here. And I could kind of show you. If you go into here, you see the exercises. Let's do this. This is what this exercise wants you to do. Create an archive file. I was actually working on this last night, so it's kind of funny that I pulled that up right there. Let's switch to there we go. So I have my Kali Linux laptop plugged into the stream here. And as you can see here on our screen, it might be hard since we're doing it so small here. Let's do, there we go. Sorry. I have to get used to this Stream Deck thing. I was working on this course, right? I was working on, or this exercise rather, and I was having an issue where I could not unzip the file that I created. And I tried this for probably an hour, just working on this exercise alone. And I was like looking up to see what was going on, and people were like, yeah, if you do like a gun zip, sometimes things won't work right. Sometimes you just won't be able to zip it because you get this error, unexpected end of file, right here. So when I try to unzip it, it bombs out. And I was so frustrated by this, and I could not figure it out. Like, I'd look on the internet, and they'd give you a couple different commands to try out to work, and nothing was working. I'm not sure if this is specifically related to like Kali Linux or not. I have to do more research on it. But the point of this is, I was going over this exercise, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't complete it. I was really frustrated by that. But it just shows, like, I have to go back. I have to research. I have to look into things, especially the things like I don't know. So, point of this is, you're not going to know everything. You know, nobody's going to know all this stuff. I mean, people who are familiar with Linux are going to know all this stuff. But, you know, I'm learning. Like, this is a learning process for me. Never in my life have I used Linux, really. I mean, I touched it maybe like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe. And since then, like, I've never had to do anything with it at all. I mean, other than like when I did websites a lot, you know, I was kind of familiar with, you know, the servers being Linux based and the paths, how that worked. But I was always like afraid of this terminal. Like this terminal, like, just, it scared me. Like, I knew that I had to learn the command line. Like, essentially, you have to learn like programming, coding with the command line, and that was like super intimidating for me, especially because I don't like programming. I don't like any type of stuff that involves code, which is funny because like the very first thing that I ever learned in my life was how to code websites, how to build websites. I could build an entire website to this day in Notepad. You know, just type out all the HTML and the CSS. And I don't want to do it because I freaking hate it, but like that was the extent of my learning of coding. So knowing that Linux was very quote unquote code based, programmer based, kind of, you know, I don't know. Learning these command lines and stuff was interesting for me, but it wasn't that bad. I feel like what I learned, and again, I'm not trying to go out of my way to plug these guys, but the stuff that I learned on Linux Academy was definitely very helpful. It was really easy to follow along, so that made like this experience much more enjoyable. And you guys can go learn Linux wherever the heck you feel like it. You know, I'm not saying you have to use Linux Academy by any means, but you guys have known, if you've watched this channel for a while, some of the different learning platforms that I recommend. You know, IT Pro TV, Skillsoft, Pluralsight. I have not honestly checked out their courses on Linux, and I don't know how they compare, so I can't give an accurate, you know, opinion, my opinion. But what I've done on Linux Academy has been awesome. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week, or by the end of next week, so next Friday, I will be able to take this exam and pass it. And once I take this exam and pass it, like once I go on this on the Linux Academy website and I get into it, once I do their practice exam and I answer, you know, all 71 of these questions, and it says that I pass, I'm going to get a Linux certification. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop me. Now, even though I did this course for the LPI Linux Essentials, which I could get a certification in LPI Linux Essentials, like I could get the LPI cert, I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know which one I'm going to go for, because I could either go for the LPI or I can go for the Linux Plus from CompTIA. If I go with the CompTIA one, that'll be much easier for me to schedule and take. The LPI one might be a little bit different, but essentially, from all the research that I've done, the LPI Linux Essentials certification and the Linux Plus certification are basically like they're the same thing. They're like the same exact thing. And I know going forward with the newer LPI like Essentials course and the Linux Plus certifications, they're going to be different, and that's going forward. But I think currently those two certs are almost identical. They're just coming from different organizations. LPI is one organization, CompTIA is the other organization. So again, not sure which one I will take, but I'm going to take one, and I'm really excited because you guys might not know who are in this chat. I don't have any certifications, so for the Linux Plus to be my first certification, that is really exciting for me, especially because of the fact I've had to do so much work on my own to learn it. Where everything else that I kind of know, I mean, I've learned through the years. I've had people who've trained me, who've taught me the things that they know. So like what I've known about networking, I've now in the last year, I've definitely studied more of the CCENT stuff and learned more about networking. But through the years, that's just all been stuff I've picked up, just like sysadmin and stuff. That type of work, building servers, managing servers, Active Directory, group policy, all that fun stuff. Let me check the chat real quick. What are good labs for learning security for the cloud? They have labs on Linux Academy. They have labs on IT Pro TV, Skillsoft, I believe, Pluralsight. They all have a lot of labs out there for security and cloud-based. So I'd have to look directly in each one of those platforms to see which ones actually do offer the cloud part. Because I know Linux Academy is really pushing the AWS stuff. IT Pro TV, they haven't pushed much of that. Skillsoft hasn't really pushed much of that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sorry, forgot to disable my sound over here. But yeah, sorry, Sakulp. I don't know. I'm terrible with names. How are you doing? Hello. What's going on, Dakota? And good luck with your exam. I really hope that you pass. I'm excited for you, super excited for you. So good luck. Adrex, you have a question. Does this job pay over 90K? What job are you referring to? Because there's lots of jobs. So what job pays over 90K? Brian Wayne, love the content. Going to continue with my A+ on Pluralsight. It has absolutely complemented what I'm learning at New Horizons. I love it. Subscribing, links for the recommendation. Absolutely. Thank you for leaving a comment, coming in the live chat. Let me know. I'm glad Pluralsight is working out for you. And New Horizons. That's good. So Adrex, IT. That's a very broad term. There are many positions in IT. So what position specifically are you looking to get into that you are wanting to pay over 90K? A majority of the jobs that you will find that are going to be entry level are not going to pay over 90K. Hands down, not going to happen. Are there jobs in IT that pay over 90K? Yeah, there's tons of jobs out there that pay over 90K. An IT technician job will not pay over 90K. You would be lucky if you got 60K, and that's pushing it. But a lot of those jobs are 30, 40,000 or so a year. I have a video coming out where I'm talking about pay scales and different job roles, and we're starting out with help desk, and that's going to be a very interesting video because I think it might be a little bit controversial in some aspects and contradictory somewhat to things that I have said before, but not contradictory in a necessarily a negative way. It's just the video is kind of going to be titled the truth behind help desk. And there are many truths to be had about that. It is definitely by far the best entry level job. Help desk is best entry-level job you can get into. But because of that, and because of not only the demand for it and the fact that you don't necessarily need all the experience in the world or all the certifications and degrees in the world to get in the help desk, what's been created from that position is companies and organizations are able to pay those types of jobs at a much lower pay rate than any other job. And you might notice sometimes that, like, going from a help desk position to like a technician position, anything that's kind of above that help desk, which job description roles or whatever are so skewed. And I kind of have a video about that. We're going to do another one about that because it's so stupid how people title different IT job role titles. But anyway, the fact is, we, as a IT society, have created this low-paying help desk job at many, many organizations because of the fact they know that they can get, somebody directly out of high school, if need be, to come fill that position as help desk and pay them $10 an hour. Like, that happens all the time. So I've seen many people, comment on my videos and say, well, help desk jobs around here pay $10 an hour or $12 an hour. Like, that's like crap. I'm like, yeah, that is crap, but we did that to ourselves. If you're looking to get into IT, you're desperate, you're going to go ahead and take that job for 10 or $12 an hour. And if you can afford to do that, if that's something that you are capable of doing, that's great, because now you're getting an experience, and that next job you take will probably launch you into that $20+ an hour range. So again, the unfortunate thing about help desk is sometimes you're going to find jobs out there that just pay like total crap. The help desk jobs I know around here, and that's just base help desk, like completely help desk. You are answering phones majority of the time, troubleshooting like really basic, simple things, putting in lots of tickets and stuff like that. Those start at about like $16 an hour or so around here. And again, I'm like pretty far outside of Chicago. So some of the actual help desk positions in Chicago, in a big city, will pay over $20 an hour. Some might not. Like, it's just kind of the way that it is. But we're going to do a video about that where, oh man, I forgot that I did that. My bad. You guys have been looking at a blank, like a terrible screen the whole time. So anyway, yeah, we'll be doing a video on that very soon. But yes, Edrix, what I'm saying is just climb the ladder of IT jobs. Absolutely. You have to. It is very rare. It probably happens like less than 1% of the time where you will come directly out of college or, get a couple degrees and you will land a job that pays a lot of money. Very often I will see people who come out of college, they'll make like $60,000, $70,000 a year. That's great. They're in a bigger city. They might be in a really big organization, and they can pull that off. But that's not necessarily, it's not reality all the time. There's people who still have, like, they've worked in this field for like 10+ years who may make only like $50,000 a year. But if that works for them, that's great. I mean, many people can live off of $50,000 a year. I have 3 kids and a 4th one on the way. I could not live on $50,000 a year. Like, I would just be broke, and yeah, I couldn't do it. So, but yes, there are jobs out there like administrator jobs, like sysadmin, network admin, like, and then you look into the architects, engineers, programmers, developers. Those will all pay over $90,000 a year. AWS type of jobs, security types of jobs, they'll pay a lot of money. I love McDonald's coffee. It's terrible, but it's good at the same time. Let's see. Hi there. Just wanted to ask, is there a way to work as a network engineer admin remotely, whether it's ITsec or InfoSec? Yeah, there's definitely possibilities there. you would have to do a lot of research into finding, different organizations that will allow for that. But it depends on, how much experience you have. I would not recommend working remotely in any type of admin or engineer, architect type of job for somebody who does not have a lot of experience. You can get an admin job or engineer job after, 4 or 5 years of experience. It's possible. I still don't know that I would recommend working remotely. Even after that, it's difficult. It's not easy. It's not as fun as it sounds. I'm at home a majority of the time, and I go nuts. And that's one of the big reasons why I just took the consulting job doing mobile device management, because I wanted to get out of the house a little bit more. And it's only like, 10 hours a week. Last week I actually got to work remotely, though, because I had a crazy day. Yesterday I worked from home. And that was actually kind of nice, but I still had lots of distractions. There's still so much going on at home. It's such a comfortable atmosphere that it's hard to, like, get going sometimes. So those types of jobs are fun, working remote and then maybe having go in the office 1 or 2 days a week. That's not bad. Ron Carlo, should you go AWS or Azure? AWS is it's a huge hot topic right now. I mean, and it's going to be. Azure is great also. I mean, Microsoft is doing a lot of cool things with Azure and really trying to pump that out there and become more relevant. And with Windows organizations, Azure is definitely the bee's knees as far as that goes. However, I mean, AWS is good too. I mean, they're both really good. It's hard to say. I can't give like a 100% on either one of those because they're both really good. Patricia, for someone with no experience, straight out of college, where do you think it's best place to start with the help desk is? Where do I think the best place to start? I mean, as far as like an organization or business or whatever, like what type? I mean, if you're coming straight out of college, no experience, you take whatever job you can get. I mean, like, that's the truth. Like, that's what I would do. Take whatever job that I could get. Like, whatever I can get my hands on, because I want to get my foot in the door and I want to get that experience. Once you get that experience, I mean, you are instantly more valuable. So if you could stay at a place for a year or two right out of college and you have that 1 or 2 years of experience, you're good. You're solid, because then once you get past this entry-level job, the next job that you go to should be you should be climbing. You shouldn't kind of I can't think of the word, but there's a really great word for what I'm trying to think of here. It's like don't like do lateral moves. Don't go from don't go to a new job if it's like paying exactly the same and you're essentially doing the same exact type of duties. That's silly. Let's see. Please make video of Red Hat certification. That's coming up. Not anytime soon, but that will be on the agenda. We have a lot of certifications to go over on this channel. So Red Hat will be coming. Let's see. Chandra, college student, you started your Cisco certifications. You want to start a career in cybersecurity field. Can I suggest you a roadmap on certifications, please? If you go to my very last video that I published, you can look and see what that roadmap is. There is a roadmap that will tell you exactly kind of what to do. And it's probably the most accurate roadmap that you will find. It's from CompTIA. There's a link in the description to that in that video. There's no link in the description in this video, but if you go back to my last video, you'll find a link there for the CompTIA certification roadmap. And there are more than just CompTIA certs listed in there, but that is going to be the best resource for you to kind of create your path. Any good labs for cloud security? I think probably every e-learning platform out there has labs for cloud security. Now, whether they are good or not, that's something you'd have to decide in your own way. I'll be doing more hands-on reviews with some of these different labs from these different e-learning platforms. But right now, I could say like IT Pro TV labs are great. Practice Labs, the actual company Practice Labs, they will do some of that stuff, and they are really good. A lot of the e-learning platforms actually use Practice Labs, which is really good. Linux Academy, though, they have I think they have some cloud security labs over there as well. So those are a few options. Darth Vaden, what is a more stressful environment to work in as far as IT concerned, hospital or corporate? Well, you're going to run into two completely different types of atmospheres within those, and both can equally be as stressful. When you're in a corporate environment, their main focus is always money, always, no matter what. Like, that is their focus. Are we making money? Are we losing money? Is IT helping in any way, with that process to make money, or are they losing money? Is there a server down that's essentially costing them money? That can be really stressful when you're in a corporate environment. If you have a system go down, something's not working, where they are losing money, you have the very top people of this organization just slamming these IT departments and IT directors and managers and things like that. That can be stressful. Like, and the corporate environment is much worse in the aspect, like, you get treated like crap a lot more, as far as what I've seen with my experiences as well. And I don't like that. Like that, I'm not like the type of the person that should kind of. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say like what I would typically say or do, but I don't deal with people's like crap very well. So when people are coming down at me, or being like complete jerks to me, like, you get it back from me. Like, I treat people the way that like I want to be treated. And if somebody treats me like crap, like, well, you're gonna get treated like crap from me, because I hate that. I always am a big believer of, there's a saying and I can't even think of it, but I'm always big on that. Like, treat people the way that you want to be treated. Hopefully people treat you that same way. And if they don't, then I'm not going to treat you with any respect, because I deserve it, and this person who I'm speaking with, or who's speaking to me like crap, should deserve that as well. But if they can't give me that respect, then I'm going in guns blazing. But I don't really recommend that for everybody. People always worry about losing their jobs and stuff like that, which I totally understand. But there are a ton of jobs out there, and there are literally thousands upon thousands of jobs in IT listed right now, right this very second. It's probably like over like 8,000 jobs that are available in the United States. So, yeah, corporate sucks. Healthcare also sucks. It's very stressful. One thing I didn't think about when I started working for the hospital that I was working at, when I first started there, I never necessarily thought like IT is going to have this big impact on the organization and in the healthcare aspect. But the very first day that I started, had orientation, and everybody who's talking made an impact on me and on what they were saying, because every single role in a healthcare organization directly can reflect on an actual patient's experience within the hospital. So even if like you're part of like the cleaning crew, and again, like hospitality or whatever, like, your job directly could affect a patient. Like, if you don't clean a patient's room the way that it's supposed to be cleaned, like, that patient could get sick because of that. Like, they can be even worse, end up with some kind of infection because you didn't clean that room properly. And then the same thing can be said for IT, and the aspect that if we don't have our different servers and computers running properly, the staff may not be able to do a test on a patient who's in critical condition. If our telemetry server goes down, and that affects like patients uh, heart stuff. I can't think of it. I'm just drawing a blank right now. The telemetry stuff is it monitors like their heart. That's the best way to put it right now. But if that goes down, if like they're not able to see, all those lines and stuff on the screen. I know I'm doing a terrible description of this, so I apologize. But that affects a patient's life. Like if they're not, they actually have like in ICU, they have somebody who sits in a room, and their sole job, their entire job, is that they monitor these screens on all the patients, and they're watching their different, their heartbeats and making sure that, there's no different fluctuations and things like that. And it monitors a couple other things too. But if one of those machines go down, or our server goes down that transfers this data, that affects a patient's life. That's stressful. Like your IT is essentially responsible at that point for a patient's life. Like that could be stressful if you think about it that way. And sometimes you do when you have like nursing and doctors calling down saying, hey, this isn't working and we have a critical patient. It needs to be back up right now. And of course, when they're talking to you about that, it's a lot meaner, and they're kind of yelling at you and treating you like a piece of crap a little bit. But in that aspect, I can't really like be mad or upset or want to talk to them like a piece of crap back, because of the fact that they have a patient that they're dealing with and they could be in bad condition. So I think both are stressful, and I'm sorry that it took me so long to get between both of those and talk about each one as far as corporate and hospital environments work. But they're both stressful, and that's what I was getting at. I think the most relaxed environment that I probably worked in was the school districts that I worked for. Those could be stressful because teachers are kind of jerks sometimes. But it was very relaxing. It wasn't the same. It's definitely not the same as a hospital or a business. When you work for a school district, you're kind of directly, affect maybe a student's experience, right? But not in a way that would really affect their life ongoing. If a computer's down or your computer lab is down, a teacher can go to their whiteboard or chalkboard, which sure those don't even exist anymore, and continue their lesson from there. Teachers should be able to do that even if technology is down. So that was kind of again, a more relaxed environment. I enjoyed that. And then Darth Vader says you shouldn't stagnate, you should accelerate, which is 100% true. You should always be looking to do better and expand yourself. Always learn. This thing always goes down. Pen testing or security? Well, pen testing is part of the security sector, so it really depends on what you want to do. What do you want to do? What will make you happy? What would you enjoy more? Hold this up over here. Need to pause that. All right. And I will be doing actually a video, I think hopefully soon, about pen testing, because I talked about this in a video maybe two or 3 weeks ago, which was about Hack the Box. It's really freaking cool. If you guys go back like a week or two about what's happening in tech this week, you guys see that. So we'll do some pen testing examples. We'll kind of walk through it. I'll actually do a live stream of this, where I'll kind of follow a guide or instructions and going through a pen testing scenario, which is really cool. And I'm really excited to actually go through it and do it. It's much like Project Ares is. So we'll probably do a little bit more of that too, because that'll be really exciting. But what I've saw about the hack the box, their pen testing stuff is really cool. So we'll talk more about that. Darth Vader says, from my perspective, what is the difference between a desktop support technician and a desktop engineer? So the desktop engineer might handle more of the managing of server, like imaging servers. They may handle more of coordination within an environment on your lineup of devices. So your desktops, your laptops, maybe iPads, things like that. There, but again, it also depends on that business. You know, every business could have a desktop engineer role, and every single one of these businesses is going to have different job duties for that desktop engineer role. So it's hard to say, and that's where I kind of mentioned earlier, like job role titles are so skewed in IT. One help desk job at one location could just answer phones and just do troubleshooting over the phone. And in another organization, their help desk role might do all the hands-on work. Like they might answer phones, do all the hands-on work. They might go out to some of the different, offices within that organization to go fix things. It really depends on what that business need is for that specific position, and they can title it however they want. A lot of times what I've seen, which is really funny because HR and IT kind of have to work together often to in the hiring process and in the different job role creations, that a HR person might look up different titles and say, oh, this title sounds good. And the IT person, IT director or manager may be like, yeah, that sounds fine, we'll go with that. And here's going to be the job description for that title, and they just agree on something that probably makes no sense. I've seen things like that. I didn't give you a very good description of what I've seen, but yes, Patricia says job descriptions are very confusing, and that's 100% accurate. They are all very confusing, especially more specifically the job titles. Help desk analyst, help desk engineer, desktop support technician, desktop engineer, and then you start getting into levels. Level 1 technician, level 2 technician, senior technician. There's so many different titles. Yet, you could compare a desktop support technician to an information systems technician, an IT technician, even help desk. Like, there's no real set, defined kind of description with all of these titles. It's whatever your business or organization puts together for that job title, that falls within that description. So it's all skewed. It's all stupid. It drives me insane. So that's my answer. I hope it was as confusing as it sounds, because they are confusing. Like, titles are confusing. Darth Vader, I agree with you. That's what bothers me sometimes about IT, is that many of these job titles are vague and misleading. Or if you're an elderly desktop support technician with several years of experience, senior desktop support analyst. Yeah. It gets crazy. It gets stupid. The thing is, it's like you always have to go and check that description of a job. If you see a job posted online on Indeed or Monster or whatever, and it's for a desktop support technician, make sure you're reading the description. They should be giving you a good generalized description of what your job duties will be. And if that kind of fits what you're looking to do, great. But always make sure, like when you're in an interview, make sure that they tell you about what your job duties will be. And often you will find that once you get to an interview, the job description that they actually tell you about, that they explain to you, could be completely different than what they had posted online when you filled out that application. So, yeah, you got to make sure you ask that question as well. And that might, it might benefit you as well, even further, if you're in that interview and they say, oh yeah, you're also going to be doing like this, this, and this, and those are things that you actually want to do. I actually, just started putting together a list of videos for interview stuff that I need to do, which I'm really excited about, because the interview videos that I did before, they worked out really well. A lot of people really enjoyed those. I want to make them better, so we're going to redo them. Hopefully in the next couple months. X-Ray, this is my favorite live stream ever. This can cancel Netflix. I mean, I doubt that. Can't cancel Netflix. Netflix is legit. Joe, am I running Kelly in a VM? No. Kelly's running from right here on this laptop. That's where the Kali Linux is running from. This sweet little laptop right there. It's not a VM. I installed it for the purpose of learning Linux. I wanted a portable computer that I could do it from, so I just pulled out this old laptop that I had sitting around. It's a piece of junk, and one of my kids dropped it and cracked the case here on it. You might be able to see it. You might not. But if you press on it in the wrong spot, it the fan rubs against the actual case of it, whatever you want to call it, closure, whatever, and it gets really loud and annoying. And darn kids. Have kids, they said. It would be fun, they said, but my kids break everything. My daughter, specifically, my 7-year-old, she drops everything you put in her hands. So, like, she's dropped, like, 3 iPads and cracked, screens on them. I am, like, 90% certain that she dropped this laptop and cracked it. The other day, I handed her my phone. We had just gotten out of the car. We're kind of like on this dirt road because we were going to soccer and whatever, blah, blah, blah. She had my phone. She gets out of the car. I walk around the other side to pick up my son. And she's like, "Here, Dad, here's your phone." And there's dirt like all over my phone. I'm like, "So, you dropped my phone, huh?" She just looks up at me. She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I figured." I'm not surprised by that. She drops everything. It's all right. Kids are fun. Lots of fun. Very expensive. Especially when they break all my stuff. So, like, now they know, don't come near any of my stuff. I have essentially 2 offices, right? I have this out here, which I consider like my studio area. And then I have like my office area in the house, which has like my good computer and fancy stuff, And they know not to go anywhere near this stuff. Like, anytime I see or hear that they're by something of mine, like, I immediately, like, "Hey, get out of here. Don't come anywhere near here." So, they know. Because they're destructive. And they like to throw stuff and wrestle each other. Anyway. Darth Vaden, you've had that happen one time. I was interviewed for an IT support analyst position, and the job description indicated that I was mostly technical support, only to find out there was more to it. Yeah, there's always going to be more to the job descriptions than are listed. It's always a good idea to ask. You need to say you started reading the job description more in depth. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of times they'll have that job description, and then every time you go into the interview, there's always a lot more. Sometimes there might be a lot less, and sometimes the job descriptions just might not line up to what they're saying. It could be just completely different. So. Oh, lots of stuff going on here. But yeah, anyway, I just want to kind of talk about, let's see, what was it? This one. This is what I was talking about today. I'm excited about this. This is the last part I have left to finish this course out. And I really hope I pass it. I'm really nervous about it. Again, if you've been in the stream earlier, I've already said this, but I did a practice exam for this, for the LPI Linux Essentials. Did it last night, or the night before. I think it was the night before, actually. And I only checked off 25 questions. I was only going to do 25 questions just to try it out. And I got like 3 wrong, and I failed it. which that happens. So I have a lot to go over. I still have a lot that I want to go back over, I should say, just so I can improve my skills a little bit more and really kind of study the things that I missed on the last one. And it's kind of weird because on the LPI Linux Essentials course on the exam there, they ask you questions about like, you know, who created Linux and like where did like Linus Torvald or whatever like discover or find the idea for Linux? Like what was it, you know, based after or whatever? I thought it was Unix, and it wasn't. It was Minix or whatever. I was like, well, that kind of sucks. Maybe I need to go, you know, read all this stuff or watch these videos again that talk about all the history of Linux. Which, like, that's like the first stuff that I did within that course is watch those videos. So I don't remember all of it, but it's kind of silly to me that they ask those questions on an exam. Like, can you just ask technical questions? Because that's what this is about. Do I think 2 years is sufficient length of time to stay in your first IT role before moving on? Yeah, absolutely. The turnaround rate in IT is always kind of high, and you usually stay in an IT position like 2 to 4 years. Like that's usually like what you'll find a lot in the industry is like 2 to 4 years, and you're on to your next job. Did I ever finish my CCNA? No, I haven't even finished my CCENT yet. The CCENT is still. I actually pulled up a course for that like Wednesday night because I was doing the Linux course, and then I was learning about networking within Linux, and I know that like Cisco switches and stuff, you know, the back end is basically very Linux based. So some of the commands are somewhat similar, where they would kind of make sense a little bit. So I was just going over the CCENT stuff and looking at some of the commands that they talked about there, just to see like how they kind of correlated. But yeah, like CCNA is still something that I'm going to get. But I have a few other things ahead of that right now. That kind of there's lots of things happening on the back end of IT career questions. Like a lot of things I can't even talk about yet. But there are definitely a lot of exciting things afoot. So CCNA is kind of being pushed back a little bit because other exciting things are happening. But you know, I have a list. I have this entire list of like different things that I want to learn. And what's really cool about that is the fact that I get to share all that with you. But like that's just going to take time. But you guys will see more about that soon. Again, I can't talk about much of it yet. But once I'm able to talk about it, I'll kind of fill you guys in just a little bit on what's going on. But big things happening here. Big things. It's insane to me because never would have thought this would happen just doing YouTube stuff. And things are just getting nuts. So yeah, we'll see. Darth Vaden, you asked because you're working as a desktop support technician. Have you been with your company for 2 years making $16 an hour on an indefinite contract with no benefits, and your advice is always helpful? Yeah, if you've been there for 2 years, definitely. You could definitely start looking for a job that is going to advance you for sure. You know, it's always, you know, people question certifications very often from what I find. And a lot of people complain about certifications specifically. They complain that, you know, they're only making $16 an hour. I'm not saying that you're complaining about $16 an hour. I'm just saying like a lot of people complain about that. A lot of people are upset that they're not able to get a better job or they're not able to just advance their career in any way. And it's like they're the same people who are like, certifications are useless. I don't need a certification. What do I need that for? Well, you know, sometimes you need that to advance your career. A lot of times you need that to advance your career. And I highly suggest it anyway, because it really shows that, hey, you took the time, you specialize in something specific. You may be able to go out and get a role specifically because you have that certification. You know, like that is going to help you. So you take like, 2-3 months and study for the CCNA, for instance. Like, you are instantly more valuable because of that. Instantly more valuable because you have your CCNA. So it's like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you take the time to study for it and pay the $325 or whatever to get that certification if it's going to help you? Like, yeah, absolutely 100% do that. So yeah, anyway. Chandra, what are the areas in cybersecurity that pay you more or that are in more demand? Every single security job is going to pay really well, and every single security job that's out there is in high demand. Like, that's the truth, though. Like, I'm not trying to give you like a BS answer. That's the truth. A lot of the security jobs will pay really well, and we need a lot of people in security. If you know any type of programming, development, and stuff like that, that is very highly needed. Any programmers in general are needed, but if you could specialize more on that security end, they're definitely in high demand. Patricia, I'm sorry. My very first IT job, I was working for a very small private school district, or not even a district, a very small private school, and I helped with their computer lab, and I helped with teaching and stuff like that. And right after I was doing that, I started consulting. So there's my first job and second job. But yeah, school district's where I first started. Stupid screen. Here, let's go to this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. There we go. Let's do that one. And Patricia, do you have any degree certifications when you started out? No. So I started out in like 2001. 2001. That was like my first. 2002. 18. Yeah, 18. 2002. That was my first job. In 2002, the IT world was completely different than it is nowadays. And the reason why I got started in the actual IT side of things is because when I was 15, I started building websites, and everybody knew that I did websites and things like that, and everybody assumed, for whatever reason, like, oh, he does websites, he knows everything about computers too, because it's technology. Like, everybody, if you know technology, you know all of the technologies. So a lot of people always made that assumption. And still a lot to this day, a lot of people make that assumption as well. But back then, like, if you know, if you knew about web development or whatever, and everybody assumed you knew everything about different technologies, it was easy to kind of get into different organizations because of that. But it was also hard for me because I only knew how to do websites. Like, I didn't really understand a lot of the inner workings of, computers and business organizations and things like that. So I had to learn, and I kind of got my foot in the door somewhere very quickly with that, and was able to pick up on a lot of things. And then it's just been this learning experience ever since then. So I'm always learning something different, always trying to keep myself up to date. So my experience has carried me throughout my life, which is great. It can happen to a lot of people. I just think nowadays it's much harder to do that. Not to say that it can't happen. I just think it's a lot harder. Even like 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to get into this field a little bit and build your experience. Nowadays, so many different organizations and stuff require so much of you. But it can still happen. And then, of course, you can go work that help desk job making $10 an hour and start getting experience that way. And yeah, we'll talk about that in another video. It's frustrating. Rohan, taking your CSET next month. Any recommendations for getting a job with no network experience? Well, there's like a 99% chance that you are not going to get a networking job with a CSET right off the bat. So I wouldn't hold your breath on the fact that you're going to get your CSET and get directly into a networking job. You might have to get your CSET, get a help desk job, and work your way up. Or you might get your CSET, get your foot in the door with help desk, maybe a junior networking position. Highly doubt it, but I would put more money on getting your CCNA and possibly getting like a junior job. It's just so hard to say. With no experience, it's really hard to jump into the actual job that you really want to have. So if you want to be in networking and you have no experience, but you have certifications, it's still going to be really hard to get directly into that job. Not to say it can't happen. It could happen. But it might not. You have an IT background with a degree, though. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, it could be possible. It's more possible with that. It's definitely a lot more possible with the degree in hand. Does Linux Academy do practice tests and are tests free? So Linux Academy, you can't do anything on there for free. I think it's like $299 for the year, which is really cheap. Like that price right there is so ridiculously cheap. But once you sign up and you pay them the whatever amount of money a month, or you do their yearly thing, then you have cloud servers are free, practice labs are free, and their tests also on there are free. But there are no good free resources out there that have any type of practice labs, or virtual environments. I guess Hack the Box kind of is free and offers those things. Oh man, IT baby's awake. Darth Vader, you're in the process of acquiring your Network Plus right now, and then eventually the CCNA. You're reading Mike Myers. Yeah, that guy's good. That's a good book to read. Any of his books are good to read. What's going on, Mafia Boy? How you doing? IT to the average person is definitely magic. Job requirements are funny for some jobs for sure. All right. So the baby's awake, and a lot of people are joining now, but I unfortunately have to leave. I have to end the stream. I'm so sorry. This was a completely unplanned stream, as usual. I apologize for that. I'm actually going to try to see if I can do another live stream tonight. I would really, really like to do that. And I'd really like to go over another practice test of the LPI Linux Essentials, and go over that with you guys. I think that would be kind of fun. And then you guys can kind of see the things that I get wrong, because I'm not, smart. I'm not smart. But yeah, I think that would be fun. So I'm going to see if I can do that tonight. I'm not going to make any promises, but again, I think that would be really fun. And I love talking with you guys. So I appreciate, and girls, I'm sorry. I love talking to all of you, and hearing your stories and hearing what you guys are looking to do. And I love trying to answer your questions. That's what I'm here for. The whole purpose behind this channel is to help people. I'm always going to help people as much as I possibly can. Like that's my life goal. That's my mission. That's my purpose in life, is to help people. I'm just lucky enough that I am able to help people via technology, which is great because I love technology. So like the fact that I could talk about technology and help people at the same time, it's just like, it's the best thing in the whole world. Like I live for it. So everybody is, people have said thanks, you're welcome. I do appreciate the thank yous. Those definitely, help, help me in the aspect that, it's beneficial for you. If you're saying thank you to me, then I know I've done something to help you. And I'm always happy to help. So that's all I got for you guys right now. Again, I hope later to do a live stream. It won't be till like probably 11, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you all for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Do some fun stuff. Do some labs. Learn some stuff. Saturdays, our labs should be a series. I could do that. That would be fun, Joe. For sure. That's actually a great idea. It could be fun to kind of do that. It'd be fun to actually like go over more labs with everybody. Go over some of the stuff that I'm learning. And you guys can see that, I'm not an expert in everything, so we could maybe learn together on some things, and I think that would be fun. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day.